Yo guys, welcome to Render. My name is Diego. So, look at this animation. The render time for that was 4 or 5 seconds per frame. The total process of me getting to 4 or 5 seconds per frame was 25 minutes, maybe? Oh, sorry to quickly interrupt this whole project with that sofa. So there's like this big animation where things are spinning, flying in the air, etc. All that is available on my Patreon. So if you go to my Patreon page, you have tons of other videos. So yeah, you can find that whole project. See, like with the modeling of the sofa, modeling the corduroy material, how I made the pillows using Marvel Designer, how I built the interior, how I did the montage in Max and everything else. Sorry, let's continue with the video. So here's the thing. There is a brilliant modifier in Max, which is called CameraMap Modifier. And for scenarios where you have this camera that just slightly zooms in, so yeah, this is a spoiler alert, this only works for those scenarios. So whenever you have a scenario where a camera just slowly zooms in, you don't maybe need to render it. You can fake it by using CameraMap Modifier. Let me show you how I did this. So this is the room that I have. Render time of this room was, I think for still was, I don't know, 10-ish minutes. But for like rendering this in animation, it like I was sitting at around 20 something minutes. So CameraMap Modifier, if you go to the modifier list, you have CameraMap here, right? So CameraMap Modifier is a modifier that can project a certain texture from the point of view from the camera. So what I did here, I actually rendered, so get this, I have an animation that does this. It's just a slight zoom in. So I took the frame that sees the most of the picture, and that frame is of course the first frame because I'm zooming in. If I was zooming out, it would probably be the last frame, right? So I took the first frame and I rendered it in the maximum resolution, like 4K resolution. I think I even rendered it a little bit higher. And then what I did, I selected all my objects in my scene and I applied CameraMap Modifier. So CameraMap Modifier is a little bit sensitive to low poly objects because if you have a low poly, then the projection is just going to look messed up. So this is my preparation for that scene. So my plan is I need to have a CameraMap Modifier on everything. I want to collapse everything that I have in the scene because I'm going to have this just, you know, just this one instanced modifier and then the whole scene is going to react much faster. So this is pretty much like a speed up optimization. So here's the thing. I'm going to click on my rug. I'm going to remove the turbo smooth from it. I'm going to click on the floor. I'm going to remove these three. I'm going to select my wall. I'm even going to remove all of this, even the chamfer from the wall. I think that they have turbo smooth. So my cushions here, I'm going to remove turbo smooth from them. Is there anything else? I don't think so. And now get this. This is the catch. I'm going to switch here to selection type to geometry, meaning I'm only allowed to select the geometry in the scene. So I'm just going to go Control A, right click, convert to editable poly. Okay, once that is done, just going to go to the modifier list, click on camera map. After I edit it, I'm going to go to my top view just so that I can select the camera. So pick camera. I just need to switch to all here and I can select my camera here. Now, as you may notice, something funny happened in the scene. Look at this before and after. So this is how I had my scene, and this is how the scene looks now. So what pretty much happened is all the diffuse textures that I have on my scene, like all the UV mapping, have now been overridden by this camera map because it literally, like all the textures are now currently like projected in the scene directly from the camera, right? And now get this. I'm going to create a simple material. By the way, this method can be replicated in any rendering engine, FStorm, V-Ray, whatever. You're going to see the logic of it. And I'm going to load the image of the room that I have, right? So the image of the room that I have is this one. So this is the image that I rendered. So I loaded that one as a texture. So I'm going to drop it into the base color. And now, while I have everything selected in the background, I will just apply this material to everything. And as you can see, it generally looks like my original render. But let's see what the actual render says for this. Well, my render looks like absolute crap. And here is the catch. I don't need to render the shadings, the reflections, the global illuminations. I don't need any of that because I rendered all of that in my original render already. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to use a render element, which is called C shading source color, which can only display the diffuse color. And that's where I'm going to pretty much draw my kind of diffuse color from everything. And we're going to get actually a tremendous, like, we're going to pretty much get like a real-time feedback, because we will disable calculation of the global illuminations or everything. And look what the result is. So in my scene in Corona, I'm gonna click on render only masks, and that will pretty much make my beauty, beauty pass to pretty much disappear. By the way, in F-Storm, there is an option render beauty pass, or don't render final image, don't render beauty pass, something like that. This option exists there too. Okay, so, and look at this. I'm going to go to my C shading source color, and look what I got. Now this looks much more closer to our render, but as you can notice, not to mention that it's all messed up, but it's also very dark. And here's the catch. This is the material that I have. So what you're seeing here is pretty much just a gamma issue. So what I need to do is just drop my Corona color correct to this and set gamma to 2.2, and voila, I got my original image. Now, what about the things that are messed up on the floor and pretty much everywhere? Well, not everywhere, but see what I mean. So let's start from the floor. So like I said in the beginning, CameraMap is super sensitive to low poly surfaces. So just look at this. So let me just resize the image like this so you can see what's happening. So if I select my editable poly here, and if I add subdivide modifier, just to kind of, toss a bit more polygons, you can see that the whole thing started to improve already. But let me reduce that size from 66 centimeters to, let's say, 10. And as you can see, my floor looks like brand new. Now, there is one also thing that you can notice. I have this sofa here, but you can see even here in the viewport, you can see like a hallucination, a previous sofa creeping in. And this is because my wall here is low poly wall. So I'm just gonna, again, do the same thing. Let me just position it like this. Okay, so I'm just gonna add subdivide, let's say 10 centimeters, and boom. There is no hallucination thingies anymore. The wall looks completely correct. Now, let's see what's up with these kind of double windows. It's not only a double window issue, actually. Like, if you take a closer look, you can even see that the plants are kind of duplicating. So an easy way to fix this, because look how my scene technically looks like. You're going to understand why this is happening. So if I go to just a perspective view, you can see that we have projected our whole render onto our, entire scene. And what you're seeing is just a halo from the outside plane, which was just used as like a backdrop image for the outside. So I can go here and add subdivide. And let's see if that just fixed the thing. Yep, it did, as you can see. But you're going to see what the issue is now. So in the CameraMap modifier, you have this thing that's called animated camera. So for this example, you need to have that off, because when you turn it off, then all these things that you see here, like all those kind of projections and all that is currently dependent on pretty much the movement on your camera. But if you turn off the animated camera, it will all just be physically baked in, and that's exactly what we want. So if I turn off my animated camera here, and look what's happening now. I mean, you can immediately see what the benefit of this whole thing is. Remember, we are in C shading source color. We do not render any shadings, global illuminations, anything. Just look at this. If I move here, we are just nicely zooming in. If I move here again, we are zooming in. Like, we don't pretty much have any render time here. But here is an issue what's happening. I'm getting a double window. So I'm getting a double window. I'm getting double plants. And all that is purely because of the perspective. Like, we pretty much baked in everything. But, there is pretty much how far you can push things until it starts to, reveal that you are kind of cheating here. So the outside image is kind of, snitching on us. So I generated a fix. So actually I have two fixes. So you're going to see. So first, this was my original material for the backdrop image. So since our C shading color is primarily looking at the diffuse, I'm just going to apply this. Just need to fix my tone mapping. This is a leftover from before. Just give 1 second. Let's say something like this. I think this is generally enough. Let me just see if there is maybe, I think there's a few more things that need the subdivision. Yeah, okay, so you see the skirting board here? So that thingy, so if I just select this one, let me just add the subdivide here. Okay, the skirting board looks nice. Everything is okay. But look at this thing. If I move my camera all the way up to here, right, you can see that there is a double kind of, double wooden leg thingy visible. You can also notice here that this table is actually duplicating. And this is, again, the limitation of how far you can push the perspective. So what did I do just for this? As I rendered this entire image, I also rendered a quick fix, which is this. So this is just, I just selected these objects and set them to not be visible to camera. So what I'm going to do, I will just duplicate this, like our main material, and I'm just going to load the room empty image, and I will just apply it, like I will just apply this material to all those objects that are pretty much causing the double thingy issue. You see, like, you can even see them in the viewport here. So it's the skirting board, it's the back wall, it's the floor, it's this the armrest, even the window here. So this window too. And let's see, now I'm just gonna apply that material and hope for the best. So click here. Oh, would you look at that? It all disappeared. It's just because we masked it out. And I believe we are generally ready to start rendering this whole thing. And now look how stupid fast the render time for this is. So in my render settings, I'm gonna set, time segment 100 frames in the scene. This is a leftover from before. In the scene, I'm going to set my pass limit to only 1. By the way, I'm not using any animation preset. You see, like, it's not like I'm using any, it's nothing. Because there's nothing that can cause flicker in this. This is just a one texture projection. So, okay, I don't need to save the render output. I do need to define the output of my source color because this is the main thing that we are shooting out. Okay, I'm going to render it here. Slow zoom. I think this is fine. And yeah, I think I'm done. Let's see how this whole thing works. By the way, there's one thing before I start render. You have to make sure that you don't have any depth of field when you're rendering those initial images, because you are cutting out things through, raw objects. You cannot have depth of field there, but you can add depth of field at this stage because it will physically start blurring objects. So yeah, let's see how fast this thing renders. Look, the resolution is 4000 by 2250. Man, that's even bigger than 4K. So this is a 4K resolution now, and let's go. So this is going to be real time now. I'm not going to be speeding up everything. So yeah, let's see where we are at. What is this? Oh, it's done. Look, 3 seconds, including parsing. Like, look at this. Wait, hold up. This is the wrong folder. 1 sec. So here, look at the stupidity. Okay, I see there is one issue. For some reason, it's rendering the images with increased gamma. So, okay, so just to fix the overbright issue, you just have to go to your render elements and click here just to set up kind of where you're rendering. But the point is, go to override. It's going to be automatic recommended. Just go to override and set it to 1.0. Click save and just render. And yeah, this is it. As you can see with the first frame, it looks completely normal. So I'm rendering in 4K resolution, and this is the real-time render time that I'm getting. Real-time as in I'm not speeding up the video. So yeah, it's, what is it? Look at this, 3 seconds. So 3 seconds is the render time for this whole thing, and it's all going to be rendered in 6 minutes. Now, 6 minutes to render 100 frames in 4K resolution in practically maximum quality. Are you getting the super turbo real thing? Generally, yeah, right? Except for it's not real. Does it work? Yeah. Like if I wanted to render this and like even if my render time was like 20 minutes per frame, I would be rendering this for like a day and a half probably. It's ridiculous. And now I'm going to be rendering this for 5 minutes in total. And yeah, look at this. It's just, look how many frames. Like I haven't sped up any of the video. Look, this is real-time frame generation. So when 5 minutes passes, I'm going to load this into After Effects just to play it. And you're going to see that there is no flickering, no nothing. It's just a clean animation. And I'm done. So I've just loaded the whole thing into After Effects. So yeah, here's After Effects in the background. I just loaded my whole animation, and let me just see how that looks like. So I'm just gonna play it now. Just zoom out a little bit because I rendered a big resolution here. So, playing. This is it. Look at this. Like, I don't know, how can you tell that this is faked? Just see what I mean? Like, yeah, you probably can spot a thing or two somewhere, but I don't know. I think it looks great. So yeah, you know, taking in consideration that I rendered this for 5 minutes or 6 minutes, I think this looks pretty dope. So yeah, hope you learned something today. Hope this will save your ass at some point in the future. And as usual, see you in the next video. Bye.